If you couldn't keep it in your pants and now you got a big family to manage like I do, a smart calendar is an incredible companion. Here I'm gonna be comparing 4 different smart calendars. First up, we've got the Amazon Echo Show. This is 21 inches. Then we've got the Cozyla Plus 2 calendar. This is 24 inches. Then we've got the Skylight 27-inch calendar max. And then finally, we've got the Hearth calendar, which is 27 inches as well. We're gonna be comparing each of these through different features and showing which one is the best for every feature. And at the end, I'll give my overall conclusion. Now, this video is sponsored by Skylight, but before you go, oh, is this just gonna be a show video where you just say the Skylight is amazing? No, here is email proof where I made them agree that I could do a genuine comparison between these 4 devices. Otherwise, this video serves no purpose and offers no value whatsoever. Let's get honest. When it comes to the display, I hope the camera's doing justice here with how good these screens look, but by far and away, the Amazon Echo Show and the Skylight Calendar Max look the best. The screens are the brightest, the colors are nice and saturated. The Amazon Echo Show has a glossy screen, which can create a lot of glare if you're in a bright environment, but because of that, it actually looks really, really nice. The Skylight Calendar Max, the colors look good, the text is really sharp. From far away, I can really read out what everything is and see what everything is. So I think these 2 screens look the best. My favorite feature of all 4 smart calendars is that if you look right here, there's a like and subscribe button, which you should definitely do. Hype the video, and I'm really close to 1 million subscribers. All I need is 895,000 more, so pretty darn close, so make sure you subscribe. When it comes to the touchscreen, the Amazon Echo Show has by far the best response to touch, followed by these other 3, which are just all okay. Now, the Amazon Echo Show also has Alexa built in, which means that you can control it even when you're far away. With the Hearth Smart Companion, you can...
Something went wrong. Try again in a few minutes.
When it comes to setting the device up, the Amazon Echo Show, the Cozyla, and the Skylight Calendar Max were all super easy to set up. You turn them on, you log in with your Google account, which is what I use, and it was automatically able to sync all of my calendar stuff to the devices. Now, I have to give a special hats off to the Amazon Echo Show and the Skylight Calendar Max because my wife, in her calendar, she creates like subcategories for each of the kids because my kids aren't old enough to have their own Google accounts. And so she separates their activities or their events by color. And both the Amazon Echo Show and the Skylight Calendar Max were able to automatically detect that and change the events based on each person's color. So if you look here, you can see that her events are more in yellow. My events are gonna be more in red, and then my son's events is gonna be a dark green, where my son and daughter both do things together, it's a light green, and where my daughter does things, it's going to be a pink color. Now, if you look over at the Cozyla calendar, you can see that they just kind of flattened everybody's events into the same exact color of green. So there's no delineation of those subcategories. Over here on the Skylight Calendar Max, again, the reason why it's so colorful is because it was automatically able to, again, delineate all those subcategories that my wife created for each of the kids, and it color coordinated them accordingly. So again, red is going to be mine, yellow is going to be the events she added, the light green is going to be events where both my son and daughter do, the green is for my son, and then the pink is going to be for the purple here is going to be for my daughter. The least fun and easy to set up was the Hearth calendar. First of all, I couldn't even get into the device without signing up for a subscription. So that already left a really bad taste in my mouth. If you don't have a subscription, you just have a nice shiny white frame that does nothing. But also, once I got into the device, I was able to log in with my Google account and all that stuff. And when it pulled up my calendar, it did the same thing as the Cozyla. It basically condensed all mine, my wife's, and my kids' events all into the same exact color. So we can't even tell whose event is whose here. It's all the same purple color. Now, as a side note, I didn't know exactly where to stick this. The UI here isn't the best here because you have these tabs with like family, calendar, meals, lists, and all this stuff. And then you've got this plus button down here. And my editor and I talked about this, but if you're in the list tab and you hit this plus button, you would assume that you're gonna be able to create like a new list item. But instead, you get this same pop-up that says Hearth Helper, Meal, and Event. There's no list option here. Now, if you were to go into meals and you click this thing, you don't even get to add a new meal. It just says Hearth Helper, Meal, Event. It's the same thing even when you get into the routines tab, you can't add a routine, it's Hearth Helper, Meal, Event. So this UI here is a little bit confusing. I'm confused who designed this thing here. The next category I'm gonna talk about is distractibility. Look, the whole point of having one of these smart calendars in your space is to create focus and attention for your kids, not to add another distraction. But if I'm gonna shove a big screen into my living room, I need to make sure that it's not going to add more distraction for my kids. I already have a car with a large screen in it, and this is what my kids do every time they get inside of it.
Let me too.
Penny, buckle up, please. Buckle up, Josiah, sit down, buckle up.
So with that being said, let's talk about the most distracting screen of all, which is the Amazon Echo Show. Now, the Amazon Echo Show kind of functions almost like an Android device where you can push and hold, you can add and remove widgets and all that stuff, except on the home screen, which is the screen that will always go back to, right? Even if you swipe it to another screen like this, you create another page, after a little bit, it'll always move back to the home screen. But on this home screen here, there are two widgets right here. It's called, I don't even know what this is. It's not Amazon Photos. It's like, it just scrolls through a whole bunch of stuff. And this one down here that says For You, these things are distraction magnets. And again, you cannot get rid of them. And again, you cannot go off of that homepage. You can swipe off of it, but after a little while, it's gonna bring you back. The reason why this first widget here is so distracting is because it uses pictures. It can use pictures of old family pictures. It can use commercials and ads. It's just really, really distracting. And then down here, it says For You. And if your kids can read, look what it says. Indoor family fun, cold weather games, family nature walks. Like that all sounds cool, but to me, it just means my kids are gonna go, ooh, 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 right? They're just gonna click more crap instead of helping them focus. It just becomes a distraction. The next most distracting is going to be the Cozyla 24-inch. The Cozyla is using pretty much Android OS. It uses Cozyla's proprietary apps that they've created more for this device. But basically, if you swipe up like this, you're gonna find out that it's basically just Android OS, right? You can just scroll to wherever, and then you can just kind of exit out like that, just like what you've seen on all of the devices. And then you can go to all the list of apps here. Oh, also, you've got a dock over here, where it's got a whole bunch of apps. And if your kids are old enough and they understand how this thing works, then this just becomes, again, a giant distraction magnet. And if they can find out that, hey, I can install Fruit Ninja on here because you get access to the entire Android, Google Android Play Store here. If they find out you can download that here, if they find out that you can run YouTube on here, then again, it just becomes another distraction magnet. But also, if you have young kids, and I don't know, this is how you know I'm a real parent, right? Sometimes when I give my kids a phone, which I barely do, because they don't know how to do it and they don't have dexterity, they'll just like push and hold things down really hard. And what ends up happening is, on a Google device, on any device, and you're gonna be Apple too, it basically allows you to get into widget move around mode. They might end up deleting something, and that just means another headache where you have to go in there, you've gotta fix it all up again. And it's just, I want something that's just gonna be simple and it's not gonna distract. And I think the Cozyla is just a little bit too distracting. The least distracting are going to be the Skylight Calendar Max and the Hearth calendar. You see, both of these calendars are using their proprietary software operating system here. And for the Skylight here, you're gonna have set tabs that you can go through. You got calendar, tasks, rewards, meals, photos, lists. And that's it. That's all you can go into. And then within each page, you can go ahead and customize what's inside of there. This is also gonna be the same for the Hearth calendar as well. You've got family, calendar, meals, lists, and routines. And you can go in there and you can kind of edit and touch whatever needs to be touched to check off tasks, just to check at a glance what's going on, what you need to do. And because of that, in the famous words of Michael Scott, KISS, baby. Keep it simple, stupid. And I love that. Again, because this is meant to be a focus, helping me manage tasks, not adding more distractions, these two are the clear winners. Moving on now to customization and app usage. Let's go ahead and start with the most customizable, which is gonna be the Cozyla. I already kind of talked about this before, but this is running Android OS, and it has their proprietary Cozyla apps, but you get access to the entire Android Play Store. And because it's like a giant tablet, basically, you can go ahead and hold here. You can add widgets. You can resize them once they're here. You can kind of click it like this, resize the widgets to be as big as small as you want. And because you get access to that entire Android Play Store, you can use the apps that you're already using on your phone on the Cozyla. This can be both a good and a bad thing. It can be a good thing because this way you don't have to add more apps, but it can be a bad thing because Cozyla, unfortunately, they didn't really focus on their app that much, and on the Play Store, it has a pretty bad rating, and people talk and complain about bugginess. I'll talk about bugs a little bit later in this video, but yeah, the most customizable is going to be the Cozyla. The next most customizable is going to be the Amazon Echo Show. It's like a pseudo Android OS here. It's kind of the same thing. You can add a bunch of widgets, but the thing is you don't get access to an entire store. You got a couple set applications that come on the device. You can add pages here and you can add more widgets if you'd like. The thing is, unlike the Cozyla where you can size the widget however you want, this is gonna have like pre-sized widgets that you can add, and so you can't have anything like taking up the entire full screen like you could on the Cozyla. The Amazon Echo Show does not have a dedicated app for it. The least customizable is going to be the Skylight Calendar Max and the Hearth Calendar. Kind of like what we talked about before, it has a very set specific purpose, and that is it. You can just move within each of those tabs, add or edit or check off whatever tasks and routines that you've got going on there, and that's pretty much it. And because it has a much simpler layout, the dedicated app, and also I think because of the subscription fee, which we'll talk about later, allows these things to continue to get updates, and the apps have become very, very refined to the point where you can control the entire calendar and customize it and add whatever you need to directly from the phone. As a matter of fact, it's probably gonna be much more beneficial to do it on the phone than standing at your screen and trying to add it here. The downside of this is going to be the fact that you're gonna have to add another app to your repertoire, which I know not a lot of people wanna do, but I can say from using both of these calendars, the apps are very, very good. When it comes to subscriptions, the Cozyla has no subscription whatsoever. Once you get the device, you get access to everything. Next up is going to be the Amazon Echo Show. Now, technically, you don't need a subscription to use anything on this device, but to take full advantage of the apps inside of it. For example, if you want to purchase things directly from Amazon by talking to Alexa, if you want to be able to watch Amazon Prime videos, then you are going to need an Amazon Prime membership. But again, in order to use anything here, you don't really need subscriptions to anything. In third place is the Skylight Calendar Max. Even if you don't pay the subscription, you still get access to, in my humble opinion, all of the task management, all of the routine management to really help simplify your tasks and your kids' tasks and chores and routines that they gotta take care of. If you do wanna get the subscription, it's gonna cost you $79 a year, and here's what you get for it. First, you get the reward system, which pairs your task tracker with the rewards feature to help incentivize your kids. So if they've done enough chores and tasks, they can get a number of stars, and then you can set a reward that they get for meeting that goal. You also get meal planning and smart recipe uploading. These features work really, really well. Basically, you can send an email with a recipe or an event, or even take a picture with your phone in the app, and it'll auto-magically detect the details on that and upload it directly to your calendar. Finally, you get Magic Import, which allows you to forward events, emails, or flyers. You can do that by forwarding it to an email, by taking a picture on your phone through the app, and it'll auto-magically upload those events to your calendar. And in last place is the Hearth Calendar. Again, this device just kind of has rubbed me the wrong way. I couldn't even get inside of it without a subscription. Granted, you can get a free trial, but you can't even get inside without that free trial subscription. Also, what kind of blows my mind is that when you're on the Hearth checkout page and product page, all their websites, you cannot find out how much the subscription costs. It's absolutely ridiculous. They hide it from you. I was like, how much does this thing cost? I had to Google it because you couldn't even find it on the product page, and even on checkout, they don't tell you how much it costs. It's absolutely crazy. Anyways, I think it costs $86.40, but here's the thing. Once you get inside of it with your free trial, you can cancel the subscription, but if you do that, then you basically just have a calendar, because that's the only feature that you can use without a subscription. Again, it really just rubs me the wrong way, man. Like, I'm really trying to be honest and unbiased here, but it's really hard because it's just not off to a good start. When it comes to the calendar, as I said before, each of these devices were easily able to sync with my Google Calendar, and it's a two-way sync. So if I uploaded an event from my phone or Google Calendar, then it's gonna add it here. And if I add an event here, it's gonna auto sync to my device as well. So that's a huge plus. But as I said before, only the Amazon Echo Show and the Skylight Calendar Max were able to identify those subcategories or sub-labels and be able to distinguish those using each color coordination. So you can see over here, for example, the Cozyla calendar and the Hearth calendar here. It's taken my wife's events, my events, and the kids' events that my wife has delineated, and it kind of just all mashed them in the same color, so you can't even see whose events are whose. Now, what's interesting about the Cozyla calendar is that using that proprietary calendar app, it does that. But if you were to use Google Calendar's app, because again, remember, this is an Android OS device, the Google Calendar app can delineate each of those events just like the Amazon Echo Show and the Skylight Calendar Max. But in this view here, it's not gonna be as user-friendly, as like nicely tuned for a screen like this as the Skylight Calendar and the Amazon Echo Show. Also, on the Amazon Echo Show, because you're kind of limited with how big a widget can be, you can never have a full screen calendar on the screen ever at one time because again, this homepage, you're mandated to have these two widgets here. So you can only have the calendar at max this big, which means you can't see everything at a glance like you can on the Skylight Calendar Max. And because of that, my number one pick here is going to be the Skylight Calendar Max. Now, I'm going to talk about some premium features that the Skylight Calendar Max and the Hearth Calendar have with their companions. So the Hearth has a Hearth Smart Companion, and the Skylight has something called the Sidekick. And what's really, really cool is that if you find an event, like for example, the example I'm going to show is that if I go on Facebook and I see an event, I can just take a snapshot using the app's like smart whatever they're calling it. So let's say Sidekick. I can take a picture with Sidekick and it's going to automatically detect the event details. And it's going to say, hey, do you want to add this event to your calendar? Pulling all those details. It works really, really well both on the Skylight Calendar Max and Hearth Calendar's Hearth Smart Companion also does a very, very good job. When it comes to task management, the Amazon Echo Show is by far the worst. Again, I don't think this device was really created to be like a kid's family management type app, but what you get is just a standard list looking thing here, which you can create and check off, and that's pretty much it. Task management on the Cozyla looks really, really good. This is their proprietary app here, but what you're gonna find is that in order for you to see all the tasks at a single glance, you are going to have to create a brand new page and add this widget to the page and blow it up. Otherwise, it's gonna be too small or the widget's not big enough, again, to see all your family members' tasks and stuff like that. Also, remember what I said earlier about how their app, their dedicated phone app, is buggy, it doesn't have the best rating in the world? This means that basically to add tasks to each person or a routine to each person, you're gonna have to do it while standing up at the screen. You can't do it from your phone because there is some bugginess that exists there, and so that makes this thing just not quite as appealing as these other two devices here. Keep in mind again that if you do not have a subscription, you don't get access to any kind of task management whatsoever. You just get the calendar and that's it. So you have to pay the subscription, but when you do, you get two tabs. It's called Lists and Routines. Lists are going to be like a one-off chore, something that you need someone to do just one time as a reminder, or it can be a rotating chore, for example, like washing the dishes. It can be my turn one day, my kid's turn the next day, my wife's turn the next day, and you can rotate, and it's really cool that you can set that up. The routines, on the other hand, these are gonna be things that you do every single day. So it's just a reminder for if you have young kids, like, hey, did you make your bed? Did you brush your teeth? Did you pack your snack? Did you, the same things you do every single day. You can add points to each list item and routine, and if the kid completes all the routines, it's gonna celebrate, say, hooray, you did it. If they complete their list, it'll do the same, hooray, you did it, and they can have rewards that they can achieve based on how many points they've accumulated. I'm being nitpicky, but what I don't love about the Hearth calendar is that it splits lists and routines from one another, and that means that there's two different views, and if you've got two different sets of things that you've got to do, I don't like that you have to like click back and forth between these two screens to figure out like what needs to be done. I feel like something's gonna get missed there. Now moving on to the Skylight calendar, it's gonna have a very similar feature. It's got a single tab called Tasks, and within Tasks, again, you've got like the one-off chores, and that it can be a one-off chore, it can be a chore that rotates between different people, like for example, washing the dishes. It can be my turn today, my kid's turn the next day, wife's turn the next day, and so on and so on. And then you've got morning, afternoon, evening routines that you can set. And again, those are gonna be things that you gotta do every single day, like making your bed, brushing your teeth, and all that stuff. And the one reason why I like the Skylight calendar over the Hearth calendar is that you see it all on one page. And I think just because of the nature of like how it's done here, it's really clear, really easy to do. And because it's on a single page, they can just like scroll up and down if they have a whole bunch and kind of check them off as they go. And if they complete it, yay, it'll reward you. It's all great and stuff. And also, if you have the subscription, you can set rewards as well. You can set a reward, based on how many points or how many stars they've achieved. You can set that in each task, how many, stars they would get. And if they hit a certain amount of stars, then they would get the reward that you set for them. And it's all a great time to help incentivize your kids. You can only set the rewards from your phone, not from your screen, which I find to be a little bit odd. And I hope that one day you are able to set rewards from your screen, because then you can kind of like set it together with your kid to be like, hey, if you hit 5 stars, then you can, go on a golf outing with me. The best smart calendar for meal planning and preparation is by far the Skylight Calendar Max. If you go into the phone app and go to Meals and click Plan Meals, you can set which meals you'd like to plan, how many people you need to feed, and leave notes for dietary restrictions. From there, you can generate a meal plan, and it's going to auto-magically come up with various recipes that aren't found in the default recipes page. I have no idea where they're pulling this from, but it just kind of automatically happens. But it doesn't end there. You can then add those ingredients for those recipes to your shopping list. And if you look at your shopping list, it's gonna have the quantity of each ingredient that you'll need for that meal. And you even have the option to add all of those ingredient items to Instacart and purchase directly from there. It's actually pretty sweet. The only smart calendar that comes close is going to be the Cozyla. So here I can go to the Meals app like this, and then you can go into different recipes and you can go to all, and you'll see a bunch of recipes here. And let's say I just wanna make, I don't know, high protein pumpkin pancakes, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and add it to my meal plan. I'm gonna add it to, let's say, next week Monday's breakfast, and I go ahead and add that. What's cool is that if I go to grocery tab over here, I can click the list, let's say November 10th, and I wanna go ahead and generate the ingredient list for that. And if I hit generate, it's gonna populate my ingredient or shopping list with all the ingredient items I need for that, and I can take it with me in the phone app when I go grocery shopping. The downside is that this doesn't have quantity, so you have no idea how much you need of each. It just says egg, cottage cheese, not how much. So in that regard, it's gonna be subpar compared to the Skylight Calendar Max's feature. The Amazon Echo Show does not have any ability to scroll through recipes or anything like that. You do get a shopping list feature, which you can add items to, although I'm a little bit confused how you would take that with you when you go grocery shopping, but because it has Amazon built in, you can order things using your voice because again, you know, Amazon ecosystem over here. And finally, the Hearth calendar does have a meals tab here, and you can do some meal planning here, but unlike the Cozyla, there's no recipe that you can scroll through, see nice pictures of. Unlike the Skylight Calendar Max, you can't generate recipes that you can get. You can't, you know, grab quantities and take that list with you to go shopping. You can't do anything like that. But one thing you do have with the Hearth calendar is that Hearth Smart Companion. What you can do is you can take a picture of a recipe, you can forward a recipe to an email address, you can even type in the recipe's link over here on your phone. Obviously, it's not gonna be practical to do it in front of it, but on your phone you could do that, and it can upload those recipes on here and you can have that with you. Final thoughts. For me, I'm looking for something that's gonna, again, help me focus, get my kids focused, to get tasks done, and to relieve some of the mental burden of having to tell my kids and remind my kids, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? And I don't need another distraction-filled device inside of the house. And because of that, Amazon Echo Show, as well as the Cozyla, immediately get eliminated. Between the Skylight Calendar Max and the Hearth Calendar, I do think the Skylight Calendar Max takes the win here. Not only is the recipe/meal planning prep feature superior with the ability to import all those ingredients and take it with me when I go grocery shopping. I can also purchase it directly through Instacart, which is really, really cool. But also, if I don't want to pay a subscription, I get access to all of the task management, all of the kids focused routine management that I could ever want in a device like this, unlike with the Hearth calendar, where I just get a shiny calendar if I want to stop paying money. All of these calendars have their unique benefits, but I really do think the Skylight Calendar Max is the best all-in-one smart calendar designed for modern life. To try it for yourself, visit the link in the description or scan the QR code. Until next time, stay honest.